She wasn't doing what I was asking her to do. And I'm like, Jay, this is you. You said you're doing all this. I'm not doing this. And he didn't do it. So we had to drop her. Like, he made a commitment to executive produce and see her through. And he decided not to, do that shit. And it was like, I'm not taking care of your child. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your child. You know what I mean? Like, you decide to do it this way, then you got to handle that. But you can't leave her with me because we going to be arguing all day. And I'm not fighting. I'm not like, I remember like, I was like, she was starting to gain some weight. And I was like, yo, you got to go work out. And she was like, I got to get her a car to take her, pay for her. But I'm like, I have to do these things for you to go take care of yourself? Like, why? Like, I'm not even going to get no money off this shit.
Dame Dash just dropped a bombshell about a meal in Jay-Z that nobody saw coming. And you're not going to believe what he said. During his interview with the Art of Dialogue, Dame Dash held nothing back as he went off on a meal, calling her a headache, and revealing some behind-the-scenes drama at Rockefeller Records that will have you question everything you thought you knew about the label. But it's not just the meal who's catching the heat. Dame Dash didn't hold back when it came to Jay-Z either. Dame threw some serious dirt on Jay-Z's name and aired out some long-buried secrets about their time together at Rockefeller Records. So what went wrong? How did things go from being on top of the game to this level of tension? And why does Dame Dash think Amil never lived up to her true potential? Trust me, this interview is packed with some jaw-dropping moments and revelations that will leave you speechless. Dame made it clear that he felt like he was doing more for Amil than she was willing to do for herself. He went deep into how he tried to push her, even offering her opportunities to shine, but it seemed like Amil just wasn't ready to take full advantage. According to Dame Dash, there was a lack of effort on her part to build her own career outside of Jay-Z's shadow, and that's where the problem started. He even hinted at the idea that if Amil had pushed harder, things could have been different, but instead, things fell apart. And as if that wasn't enough, Dame didn't stop there either. He also revealed some shocking details about Jay-Z's involvement in the whole situation, from being Amil's biggest supporter to at times leaving her to fend for herself. Dame pulled back the curtain on how Jay-Z handled his artists behind the scenes. Was Jay-Z too busy building his empire to really help his people? Or did Dame Dash see things differently? This conversation is full of answers that might make you look at Jay-Z's business decisions in a whole new light. Now I'm about to play this clip for y'all, but before I do, I just need you to like, leave your thoughts down below in the comment section, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
Why didn't Bleek take over Rockefeller? And the reason why I'm asking is because I remember he opened up Volume 2. He was on the intro, and there was a rumor around that album that was Jay's final album. So it looked like Jay had it all laid out for him to blow up.
I mean, I don't think Bleek wanted to take over. I don't think he had the ability to, Jay was writing a lot of his rhymes. So if Jay retired, that meant he was out of business as well. You know what I'm saying? Like that, Jay couldn't. If he's still making records, Jay can't retire. Jay was writing his record. Ask Bleek about it. But that was Bleek. Put it like this: I could understand Bleek's loyalty to Jay because he had Jay as a ghostwriter. But like Bleek was like someone that I had to like. I remember with Bleek, he was supposed to get on the first side, the A side of a Clue record was a big deal. And we got him real estate on a Clue record, A side privilege. And he was like, didn't feel like writing a rap or couldn't at the time. And, I had to make the decision to bench him. You know what I'm saying? Like I made the decision like he could sit down because I'm not putting our money into that. And he's not going to fight. I'm not fighting harder for him than he fights for himself. So there's always been I've always had to push Bleek to put an album out or, it's like, I don't know. I personally think I wanted more for Bleek than Bleek wanted for himself. Like I would argue with him about, do your own show and do your own. That was our argument. This is what we was always arguing about. It's like, stop depending on this dude to do everything for you. You got to do it on your own. Like, you don't want to be 40 years old just doing interviews, talking about him all day as a business model, and you're still working, like you still got to move when he say so. That's not what I would consider my, the perfect life that I would want to work toward. And he had the like I took Bleek to Europe with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he could. I always wanted Bleek to do well. I consider him a little brother. I love him to death. Pause. I love them all. I ain't got no problems with Bleek. But back then, I wish that he wanted it. I don't think he definitely didn't want to take over Rockefeller. That's not what he wanted. It's too much responsibility.
So you was trying to help him be more independent. You wasn't trying to get him away from Jay.
No, I never tried. That wasn't what I was doing. I was like, yo, stop performing in his show. I was like, open up for him and do your own show. You understand what I mean? I was like, you don't have to always be up under this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do it. I wanted him to do it on his own. I wanted like how Cam had Dipset and Beanie had State Property. He was supposed to have, I think, Get Low, but ask Get Low about what happened. It wasn't my fault, but I was ready to make him a vice president. He just had to get his label together. He just, couldn't do it for himself. How you gonna do it for somebody else?
Right. Yeah, I had no idea that Jay was writing for him.
I probably shouldn't have said that, but he's been talking about me lately, so I didn't care. I didn't think it was a secret, but if he has the nerve to talk about my business, then I don't have a problem, not to say like tit for tat. I didn't know that I couldn't remember. I remember when I said it, I was like, I wonder if that was still a secret. I just thought everybody knew. But I felt like he was so comfortable saying that he must know, everybody must know, because he was saying certain things like I had no motion or something. I couldn't believe he did that. He says things sometimes that bug me out. But again, it's like I could tell when somebody's telling him to say stuff because I know Bleek. But this is also somebody that I saved. Like, he was getting robbed by his own people. They had his publishing. They had his they had his publishing. It's the watch, okay? They had his publishing, and I'm the one that wouldn't sign him until I got him accountants, I got him lawyers. Like, I think I did more than anybody for Bleek as far as making sure he got treated correctly. Like, he was down to get treated any way they wanted to treat him. He wasn't fighting to protect his publishing and the things he was doing. I guess he wasn't writing anyway. But I was the one that was like, I'm not even going to sign you until you have all your shit together. And you could revert back to hearing him say that, because it's all I did that for all my artists. I made sure all their shit was right, or all the artists I work with.
Whatever happened to Amil? It's like she disappeared out of nowhere, man.
She did. After we dropped her, she didn't do anything else. That's how you could tell, and no disrespect to Amil, but that means that if you can't make it without me at all, that it was all going to be, you know what I mean? Like, I wish she would have appreciated that moment a little better, because she didn't realize the work it was going to take for me and us to get her where she had to go. I feel like Jay had Beyonce in her first video. He, the writer, directed her first video. Like, she had enough to go. It was on her. She was in the steering wheel. You know what I mean? It's like, if you have to ask what happened to that person, you have to ask that person what happened to that person, because it's their fault. It can never be nobody else's fault. Like, you niggas is against me and fucking with me all day, but you still know what I'm doing. You still see me out here being, with motion and doing different things, different verticals. It's just independent. And a lot of sucker dumb just be like wondering, like, every dollar, they be looking at my pockets and shit. Like, who the wants other dudes looking at their pockets all day? That's like a nightmare.
Why y'all release her?
Because she wasn't doing what I was asking her to do. And I'm like, Jay, this is you. You said you're doing all this shit. I'm not doing this. And he didn't do it, so we had to drop her. Like, he made a commitment to executive produce and see her through. And he decided not to, do that shit. And it was like, I'm not taking care of your child. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your child. You know what I mean? Like, you decided to do it this way. then you got to handle that. But you can't leave her with me because we going to be arguing all day. And I'm not fighting. I'm not like, I remember like, I was like, she was starting to gain some weight. And I was like, yo, you got to go work out. And she was like, I got to get her a car to take her, pay for her. But I'm like, I have to do these things for you to go take care of yourself? Like, why? Like, I'm not even going to get no money off this shit. And I was done. But she was great. You know, I ain't mad at her. I'm getting no beef with her. I would have loved to have seen her go and hit her, realize her potential without us. Nobody ever stopped her.
Dame Dash just laid it all out there, and after hearing his side, it's clear this Rockefeller story is far from over. Now, I'm not here to pick sides, but hearing Dame speak so openly about Amil and Jay-Z really makes you think. It's clear that Dame's loyalty to his artists ran deep, and he genuinely wanted the best for them. But there's a fine line between pushing someone to greatness and realizing they just aren't ready to take the leap themselves. You can't force somebody to want it as bad as you do for them. And as it seems, that's where things went sideways with Amil. She had so much potential, but Dame Dash didn't feel like she fully embraced the work and responsibility it takes to make it in the music industry. That's tough to watch, especially when you've invested so much into somebody's growth. And when it comes to Jay-Z, I'm not surprised Dame still holds some resentment. In a way, it feels like Dame Dash was stuck in the middle of wanting to build his own legacy while also trying to push people to their highest potential, even when they didn't seem to want it for themselves. Jay-Z, on the other hand, he was a machine. He had an empire to build, and sometimes that meant putting personal ties aside for the bigger picture. I get it though. This is all part of the game. The industry is tough, and sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who end up disappointing you the most. But at the same time, we've got to remember that at the end of the day, it's about each person carving out their own path. Dame's honesty here shows just how important it is to keep pushing for more, even when things get tough. So what do y'all think? Do you think Dame's frustration with Amil was justified, or was he expecting too much from her too soon? And when it comes to Jay-Z, do you think Dame is still holding on to some old wounds, or was this just the reality of a hard business? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.